Hi, I'm Dan Schmitt. I do a motorcycle racing TV show, Team Chicago Challenge. My email is teamdan45@gmail.com, and I'd love to hear from my audience. I'm here at MCC, Villa Park, Illinois. St. Charles Road is right here. We're just a little west of 83. Easy to get to. This beautiful dealership. I'm going to show you a little bit of the inside, but I'm here to ride Royal Enfield motorcycles. So, and I want to tell you a little bit about Royal Enfield motorcycles also. But we're going to ride the bikes. I'm going to show, I got helmet cam. I'm going to show you, I'm going to talk about the bikes as I ride them. I think this is a great deal, a great way to celebrate Father's Day, because I'm the one who can celebrate Father's Day because I have 8 grandchildren and now I have 7 great-grandchildren. So it's going to be a good time right here in Villa Park. My friends at MCC, we got Royal Enfield motorcycles. Don't forget my email, teamdan45@gmail.com. Everything kicked off at 9:30 in the morning. We are now seeing the first group going out. We're going to ride approximately 7 or 8 miles. We got a great course lined up to ride, give you some speed. You can take the bike up to 55, 60 miles an hour, some twisty corners. As you can see, Royal Enfield provides 3 guides. You got the leader, you got the midfield, and then you got cleanup at the end. Everybody needs to have a motorcycle license code on their license. As they head east on St. Charles Road, you can see the front of MCC Motorcycle Center. And I'm going to take a look inside because now, for the last few years, they are Royal Enfield dealer. They got a showroom. Royal Enfield has got approximately 20 different models, from a 350 single to a 411 single up to a 650 twin. All these bikes are made in India. But I go back with the guys at MCC when they first took on Ducati. They were down the street on St. Charles Road on the north side of the street. There's a full line of Ducatis now, from scramblers to road race bike. Then you got vintage looking Triumphs. They've been a Triumph dealer since 1994 when Triumph came back. Sport bikes. And now even a 450 smaller bike. But they've always been involved with dirt bikes, as we see this great selection of Husqvarnas, or Huskies, and another great selection of KTM. So they got plenty of dirt bikes, they got plenty of street bikes, and they also carry a pretty exclusive bike, the MV Agusta. A little pricey, but a fine Italian motorcycle. Greg and Jeff built a great business as we look at this line of motorcycles. And now outside, riders are gathering for the second group. This is the group I'm going to be riding with. Looking at some of the bikes. The Himalaya is a dual sport bike. They got the 650 twins, and they got the 350 Hunter single. And now we're going to hear from Wendy Edwards, the event coordinator for Royal Enfield.
So, welcome to Royal Enfield demo event. River was just out riding, so I'm going to give him a break. You're going to hear the briefing from me. I'm not as funny or as cool as him, but whatever. How many of you have ridden a Royal Enfield before? Perfect. So, welcome back, and welcome to everyone who is new. A little bit about our motorcycles, just so you know, everything is fuel injected. Does have electric start. There's a key. You will turn the key depending on what you're riding. For the most part, there's a little red dial on the right handlebar. You'll push it to the left. That will start it. If it is not starting, your bike is probably in gear with the kickstand down. So I would suggest making sure it's in neutral and your kickstand is up. With me so far? Perfect. Turn signals are located on the left handlebar, left to go left, right to go right. They do not self-cancel, so if you push it in, it'll turn off. We do like to use our turn signals so that everyone out here, all those four-wheeled monsters, know what we're doing. So be aware of that. Who's riding Himalayan? Himalayan. Perfect. So we've got Himalayans, we've got Scrams. So this, if you're riding a Scram, you have a smaller front wheel. You do not have switchable ABS. If you're riding a Himalayan, you have a bigger front wheel. You can turn the ABS off if you're riding off-road. We're not riding off-road today, so please don't do that. But just so you know, you have the option. That's pretty much the basics for the bike. As far as the ride, you will have a lead, a mid, and a sweep. Don't pass your lead. Don't fall behind your sweep. If you feel like your sweep is pushing you to speed up, you're probably going too slow, move your butt. Your mid will kind of float around. I like to call them the cat herder. They're there to just make sure that no one gets lost. If for some reason you get separated at an intersection, your mid will jump up and become your lead, or your sweep will jump up and become your lead. So don't worry about getting lost. I've been doing this for a few years. I haven't officially lost anyone yet. Don't be the first ones, please. It's not the day. We ride in a staggered formation. Keep a little bit of distance to make sure everyone's comfortable, but not enough distance that a car can get in between you, because they will. So what will happen is your wristbands all have the bike that you're riding and the time. It should say 10:45. It has the color also. It does matter because some people wanted specific options. So what you'll do is you'll find your bike, sit on it, adjust your mirrors. The mirrors adjust at the top, not the bottom. If you mess with them from the bottom, they'll come loose, they'll fall off while you're riding. You'll be sad, I'll be sad, this whole thing. So adjust your mirrors, get comfortable. I will get River, who will be your lead, and he will come up and he'll kind of pull out and we'll get everyone ready and you guys will all head out.
Thank you, Wendy, for that important information. I am part of the second group for the day as we head east on St. Charles Road, going past the front of MCC. We're approximately 4 blocks from Illinois Highway 83. I am riding the Royal Enfield Continental GT. This is sort of a cafe racer sport bike with clip-on handlebars above the top yoke and rear set foot pegs, which I thoroughly enjoy. Now we're making a right-hand turn on the Route 83, and I can open it up and see what kind of horsepower this 650 twin makes. As we get past the Walmart, we are now approaching Roosevelt Road. I'm going to enter the Cloverleaf. Will give me a great opportunity to carry a little speed and see how the bike handles in a nice round right-hand corner. Now I should point out that today is Father's Day again, and yesterday was the Ride to the Wall, the Illinois Motorcycle Freedom Run. I rode the Yamaha MT-07, which is 690cc twin. I rode that bike approximately 140 miles yesterday. And this Royal Enfield makes power very similar. It's got great torque, got a 6-speed transmission, Remember, I started, first bike I bought with a 650 Triumph, and this bike is much smoother, and now we're heading east on Roosevelt Road, and again we can pick up the speed, 55, 60, 65 miles an hour in this stretch. We are now exiting at County Line Road. A nice winding exit. Again, it gives me the opportunity to get the feel for this bike. I love the clip-ons, I love the rear sets, and the mirrors on this bike are mounted on the end of the handlebars. Now we're going to make a right-hand corner, and that's going to take us to the frontage road. Another opportunity to see how this bike handles. Couple left and right-hand corners. We can pick up the speed. Doing approximately 50, 55 miles an hour here, maybe slowing down to 45. It looks like everybody's having a great time riding their Royal Enfields on this Royal Enfield Ticket to Ride. And now we're northbound on 83 again, and we're making another loop around back on the Roosevelt Road to go westbound. This bike has great control, great feelings. It's a great first-time bike, I believe. Makes about 47 horsepower, nice torque. Probably pulled through 8,000 RPM. It's got 4 valves per cylinder, fuel injected. And now we're approaching Villa Avenue. So we're going to take Villa Avenue back to MCC, which is approximately 4 miles on a normal thoroughfare through Villa Park. Now we're turning right onto St. Charles Road, and the ride is done as we loop around and park in the parking lot of MCC. And now I'm going to tell you my knowledge of Royal Enfield and all bikes British. And then we're going to talk to one of my old friends, Cyril Friend. Well, I mentioned earlier that I'm pretty much an expert on British motorcycles, and I know quite a bit about Royal Enfield. But my history of British motorcycles, the first motorcycle I bought was a Triumph, 650 Triumph. And it was that 68 Triumph that eventually I did race that bike. Then I bought a 70 Triumph, and then I was hanging around with the guys at A Cycle World. Now, A Cycle World was a BSA dealership. And my good friend Hud made me one of the most beautiful Nortons ever. So I've been around British motorcycles my entire life. I still race my Triumph. I still have 2 Silver Jubilee Triumphs. And well, let me tell you a little bit about Royal Enfield, what I have learned. As you know or may not know, Royal Enfields are built in India. But the technical department for Royal Enfield is in England and it is in India. They have exactly the same equipment in both of their design studios, and both their engineering studios. So the same information that has been developed in England over all these years has also been transferred over to India. And one thing I always say about India, and here we see some of the bikes are coming back. These guys got to ride these cool bikes. In fact, I'm going to talk to the leader because I think we had a real great path to ride these bikes. So you see these great motorcycles. So the engineering, the design, everything to do with these Royal Enfield motorcycles are developed both in England and in India. And the beauty, which I tell people I know from India, and I have some real good friends from India, I can tell you the whole story about all the Catholics in India too. But that's another story. I'll do that on another show sometime. But so I got to ride these bikes. I'm pretty impressed. The price is right. I think buying one of these wonderful Royal Enfields or looking at them is a good place to start, especially if you're just getting into motorcycles.
I'm Cyril Friend from Riverside, Illinois, and I know Dan from the Right to the Rock over the last 20 years or so, care of the great late Bill Wilt. And I'm riding my 2006 Triumph Sprint ST 1050 that I unfortunately, that's the bike I didn't want. I inherited it from a buddy of mine who lost a 3.5-year battle with cancer. Went to visit him about 3 weeks before he died, and he gave me an envelope, and I opened it up, and it had the title in it, and I was a gushing mess, man. So that was 6 years ago.
So I haven't seen you down at the Rock recently. So what's the deal? I've been there every year.
More kids, more travel. I've got 6. Today's Father's Day. I've got 6 kids.
Oh, okay.
Between 32 and 18.
Okay, so it's all right. Well, anyhow, the Rock disappeared. It's been stolen by the Park District or the city or the Obama people. I'm trying to get someone to locate it. I've been doing my own research. I haven't been lucky doing that. And
they won't even tell you where it is?
No, I've talked to the construction company. I've talked to the Park District. I called the Park District downtown. I talked to people at the museum. Nobody knows anything. I'm trying to get Bob Fioretti, who's running for state's attorney, I'm trying to get him involved and find the Rock. So when we meet now at the Rock, we meet at the parking lot for the Museum of Science and Industry, the back part of the parking lot.
I'll be there Thanksgiving then.
Okay, I will be there. So I'm going to shoot your bike. So this is a 1050
Sprint ST.
ST. Is that a 4-cylinder or 3-cylinder?
It's a triple.
Triple.
It whines like a 4-cylinder. It torques like a 2-cylinder.
Thank you, Zero. So this is the bike that I rode. It is the Royal Enfield Continental GT. It's a 650 twin, 4 valves per cylinder, the 270 crank. So it's not like the Triumph that had a 360 crank, but it's got a balance shaft connected to the crank, 6-speed transmission. It's a short stroke engine. The bore is 78 and the stroke is 67.8. It's got the clip-on handlebars that I like, and it's got rear set foot pegs. If you're looking for a motorcycle to do track days, I would highly recommend the Continental GT. It is a good all-around motorcycle. Now we're looking at the Scam. Now the difference between the Himalaya and the Scam is the Himalaya's got a 21-inch front wheel. This bike has got a 19-inch front wheel. It's a dual sport overhead cam displacing 411 cc's, making 24 horsepower, 5-speed transmission, and I had the opportunity to talk to Alice Morales. He's a part-time employee here at MCC, and he's going to tell us who laid out the great route that we rode.
My name's Alex Morales. I work here at MCC part-time. The route was laid out by actually one of the former owners, Jeff Mellinger.
Right.
And it's a good balance of kind of everything that you could potentially see on a motorcycle. You got some slow sections, you got some curves, you got some sections where you can really open it up. and it's a good balance of kind of getting to feel for the bike, especially with days like today where people are hopping back and forth on bikes. It's easy to get comfortable on the route.
Right. No, it's a great route. I have to compliment, because I was thinking, see, when I've done road tests before, I did it with Rich's Yamaha, and they're halfway out in the country.
Yeah.
So I was figuring out what would you guys use that would be safe, no interstate highways or nothing, but still give us an opportunity to ride the bikes up to 60, 65 miles an hour, and to slow down coming across on Villa Avenue, just to get everybody to mellow out and come back.
Yeah, and that definitely helps you get a feel for, especially if you live in the suburbs of the city, you're going to be stop and go, so that helps you hone that kind of skill in.
All right,
especially
so
on these bikes.
New ownership here at MCC. What's it like for you guys working here?
I think it's great. The new owners, Motorworks, came in with a goal in mind, and they've been changing the vibe of the place to kind of match the interesting
Well, I know
vibe
Johnny, and I know both the brothers here, so I've been around forever. So
okay, yeah, I think it's great. Johnny's got a ton of vision, and he's described what he sees for this place, and it's going to be a cool ride getting there.
Okay, so email for MCC.
It's
TeamMCC.
teammcc.com. You can go there and submit questions for parts or service or anything.
Thank you, Alex, for the great information. So I am now riding the Royal Enfield Scam. Like I stated, it's got a 19-inch front wheel, not the 21-inch front wheel. It is a dual sport bike. It's a single cylinder, 411 cc's with a 5-speed trans. The stroker engine with a 78 bore and a 86 stroke. Give me a 410 cc's as we make a right-hand turn onto Route 83. For a single cylinder, it makes good horsepower. Now we're jumping ahead as we exit off of Roosevelt Road on the County Line Road. Great opportunity to get a feel for the motorcycles. A couple left and right hand turns. Chance to check out the acceleration. Now we're going to turn right again, and this will bring us to that frontage road. Trying to keep the group together, so we'll pass this SUV. We're on the frontage road, heading west now. This is the kind of motorcycle, if you want to take back roads, maybe a couple trails. Royal Enfield now has a bike for everybody. Get that 650 twin and down to 350 singles. Now we're jumping ahead one more time. We're on Villa Avenue heading north. And now I'm standing up on the foot pegs and bouncing the suspension. I want to feel how the suspension feels if you're going to ride in the dirt. When you ride in the dirt, you do need a little bit more travel. You can easily see me riding across the USA taking all back roads with this motorcycle. You just need Royal Enfield to supply me with a bike, and I could do a few TV shows riding off-road with one of these Himalayans or the Scam. As we head back into the parking lot at MCC, it's been a great day and a great way to celebrate Father's Day in Villa Park, Illinois. Just on St. Charles Road, just a little west of Route 83. And as we see my friend Cyril leaving on his Triumph 3-cylinder 1050 to head home and to celebrate Father's Day with his family. For more information on MCC Motorcycle Center in Villa Park, Illinois, it is teammcc.com. teammcc.com. For information on Royal Enfield, it's royalenfield.com. It was a great time in Villa Park on Father's Day. To contact me, and I'd love to hear from my audience, it's teamdan45@gmail.com. And remember, you can always search on YouTube with Dan Schmitt Motorcycle Racing for great motorcycle racing action, Dan Schmitt Politics, to learn what makes America great. And I highly encourage you to visit the World of Motorcycle Museum. They're in Winamac, Indiana, 4 miles south of North Judson on Indiana Highway 39. But give them a call first at 574-896-3172. It's a great trip and a great collection of motorcycles. And if you want a copy of the Team Chicago History Package, go to Rich's Yamaha in Lockport, Illinois. But give them a call first at 815-838-8130. Your website is richesyamaha.com. Pick up your copy of the Team Chicago History Package. And the best way to learn about motorcycles is go to a swap meet. Here's a few dates of swap meets coming up. With Walneck Swap, go to walneckswap.com, and a few races including Wassian, Ashland, 2 half-miles, and the TT at Peoria. It was a great day riding motorcycles.